So porn industry is an industry that is thriving on a very high rate. It is a very huge and enormous industry commanding billions and billions of dollars. And in every day we have millions and millions of releases to the internet of porn content. And as you know that we have so many people who are consuming porn, so even if they release in millions and millions, they will still find people who shall consume it. And I have been trying to find out and research where they base um, their operations on, and I have come to find out that they find or they have founded their work on addiction, because when a person get addicted, they will be consuming different content on different days, and they shall be able to consistently consume content, therefore making uh, the industry continue to thrive and continue running. The industry is based on human behavior, and as scientists have proven, human behavior is based on 3 points or 3 principles: that every human is seeking to fight pressure, uh, every human is seeking to reduce pain or avoid pain, and also conserve energy. So these three things are the foundations or where the porn industry have been based, to make sure that you are fighting pressure, and this pressure is reducing your pain, because many people are going through different moments in their life, or the occurrences in life. They have made their life to become very much miserable, and they have a lot of pain. So to avoid this pain, you go seek pressure from porn. And also, whenever you are watching porn, you conserve your energy, because you do not have to uh, go do so much. You just need to go to the internet and download and start enjoying. So they have based their work on the 3 principles that we need to actually understand what happens. Because when you start watching porn in the first instance, your body becomes, or your mind becomes excited. Then there is the release of the hormone, uh, called known as dopamine. And when dopamine is released in high quantities, the brain start getting used to it, and whenever your body is stressed, your brain will start requesting for release of dopamine. And dopamine can only be invoked by sexual arousal, which now, when the dopamine is released, you feel good, and you feel like you are calm. So over a period of time, when you continue exercising this and watching this pornography, and also maybe masturbating and all that, you find that the quantities of dopamine in your body continue reducing. So for you to be for the dopamine to be released in your body, you'll have to get a higher stimulation from porn. So that is why you find people moving from soft porn to hardcore porn, even to going into prostitution and doing things like that, so that they can continue to sustain their habit. So this habit have got several effects on our spirituality and our well-being as human beings. And actually, today we shall be looking at the spiritual effects of pornography. And as Matthew chapter 5 and verses 28 is telling us, the Bible is saying that if a man looks to a woman uh, lascively, they have already committed adultery in their spirit. And yesterday we were trying to outline how this happens, because when you watch those guys doing whatever they are doing, whether you are a woman or a man, you lust after them. And whenever you lust after them, you now try to idolize them, when as if you're having sex with them, and this gives you a spiritual connection with them. And from there you have the adverse spiritual effects that come from the spiritual connection. So porn majorly causes a spiritual transaction um, to happen between the people who are acting porn and the people who are watching. Because whenever you are watching, you are agreeing, your brain is in agreement with the things that are being done on the other side. So there are spiritual transactions that happens, and these spiritual transactions basically are based on the book of Matthew 5:28, that you're having adultery in the spirit. And yesterday we also said that you cannot commit adultery alone. There must be at least two parties which are involved. So you find that whenever you are watching these people doing whatever they are doing, as your body is getting stimulated, your spirit also comes and gets involved, because you find intimacy in watching pornography, and your body is stimulated, your mind is stimulated, your spirit is also stimulated, and you get some sort of spiritual connection with the people that you are watching. And whenever you are connected spiritually, any transaction that the kingdom of darkness may want to transact with your heart, basically this deals with your future, your star, your potential, your abilities and your gifts, because the enemy knows that whenever you have this gift, whenever you have a potential to do something, whenever your purpose is a great purpose and you have a great destiny, they know that you're going to ruin the kingdom of darkness. So whenever you're having this sexual fantasy from pornographic site, the spirit of darkness comes to your heart and comes to your soul, comes also to your spirit, to try to find that what you carry, whatever is contained in yourself. And they do a transaction and try to do these exchanges. And whenever they exchange these things, you find that, and that's the reason, after watching pornography or doing masturbation, you find your spirit so empty, so empty, and you feel like you want to die, you don't want to do this thing again, you are very much guilty. And we can find this in the Bible. When you look at the story of Amnon in the book of Samuel, and Amnon desired to sleep with her sister Tamar. And when Tamar came and actually Amnon slept with Tamar, we see that the love that Amnon had, because Amnon was lasting after Tamar, turned in too much hatred that surpassed the love that he felt for Tamar before they slept together. This is guilt. So guilt is another spiritual effect of pornography, because whenever you do this, you feel so much guilty, you feel hating yourself, you feel disgraced. And when you feel disgraced and so much empty, you can now only go back to pornography to try to feel high again. And whenever you feel high again, and that stimulation, that guilt goes down, then after that the guilt arises again, and you can now only go back to pornography. And this is now how addictions comes about, because you tell yourself that I'm not going to watch this again, I'm not going to do this again, because I'm guilty about it, I know it is not good, I know this is not the original purpose of God for sex, I know I should not be doing this. But you find yourself, you've been enslaved, and you cannot be able to break that. And Bible says in the book of Isaiah chapter 61 that Jesus came to declare freedom, to declare the year of Lord's favor, to declare freedom to the captive. So there are many people who have been captivated by this, but Jesus came for them. But they are finding it difficult to come out of these situations because they have already been enslaved. So guilty, feeling guilt, the guilt feeling is one of the side effects or effects, spiritual effects of pornography, because when you feel guilty, you cannot be able to present yourself before God, you cannot be able even to pray, you feel that you are not worthy. Whenever you go before God, you feel so much dirty, and you can only now go back to pornography, and repeated actions actually causes addiction that cannot be controlled. It leads also, the pornography also leads to adverse effects, like whenever you are used to this, you find that each time maybe you start with a very soft porn, a soap opera that maybe has nothing to do with porn. You find these people kissing and doing these romance things. Then you find yourself asking, if they are doing this, why can't I go to a channel that at least will give it until they undress themselves? So you go to a porn site, you look for a soft porn where people are naked. So after you see naked people, you get so much stimulated and you feel that you're satisfied. But whenever you shall be coming back, you'll now be coming back for more, because you have already seen the naked people. You now want to see these naked people doing it in action. And thereby you start seeing them doing it in action. From there, you start demanding now more action, different sizes of people, different positions. And when you find those positions, you cannot watch one position twice, because you'll be feeling that now you have already watched that. You go now to the next stage, where now you want not two people, but more than two people, not the usual way, but the unusual way. Then you go for incest, the family members. You go for gayism, lesbianism. So after you have consumed all this, you are so much into pornography that you cannot leave it, and you cannot even get satisfied by watching one video. You need to watch like 10 videos or 20 videos or even more for you to get stimulated, and for you to continue maintaining the levels of dopamine in your body and feel good hormone. So it leads to adverse effects. You find yourself now masturbating because you're having intimacy with these people that you're watching. And you also find yourself now going to look for little partners who you think they are going to satisfy, or even to make yourself to sustain the dopamine levels. But you find that even when you go to little partners, they may not be able to act as those people are acting. They may not be able to lift you high as those guys have lifted you. So you find that you'll be now having these people that you are the real people, and you're still also watching pornography, but still you cannot find satisfaction. You find yourself that you really need more. You really need more. You really need more. And this is now where you find people now start even acting upon themselves. They start they start desiring having porn on camera, having sex on camera, and they now come to the industry. This is the tricks of the kingdom of darkness. They understand that whenever you are addicted, you are not able to come out. When your brain is dependent on this dopamine chemical, you really have to be working out to make sure that the dopamine has been sustained. And by the sustaining of the same, your addiction grows from one level to the next, and you continue feeling guilty, you continue feeling empty. And many people who've been doing this, they end up in suicide because they cannot find satisfaction. They find if members of opposite sex not appropriate to satisfy them, they go to the members of the same sex. They find that even those members of the same sex, they are not able to satisfy them. They start going to orgies, these sex parties. They find that they are not finding satisfaction, and they find that life is not worthy, and finally they may end up committing suicide. So I'm telling you guys that we should try to avoid as much as possible, as we were advised yesterday by the book of 1 Thessalonians 4 from verses 3, that the will of God is that we get sanctified, and we should avoid sexual immorality. Sexual immorality preys on our life. It adds up to death. The Bible says in the book of Proverbs chapter 9 and verses 17 that stolen waters are sweet, bread eaten in secret is sweet, but at the end the Bible says that little do they know that the dead are there, and that her guests are deep in the lion of the dead. So these things actually leads to death, physical death and spiritual death, and they are of no use. They try to start you from a lower level to raise you again to a higher level. And when you reach to certain levels and you relapse, and maybe you decide that now I'm watching hardcore porn, but I've decided to stop to watch that hardcore porn, then in a few moment of days you feel like coming back. You know, the level you are now starting at a lower level, but your expectations are so high that that lower level cannot satisfy. So you find yourself going to so much extremes, going even to bestiality, sleeping with animals, and so many other dirty things. This come from that. So let us try as much as possible to avoid these things. And for those people that are already in pornography, there is hope for them. We shall be doing a video next on how to exit pornography and how you can successfully regain your control back and your life back. So God bless you as you continue to watch these videos. Kindly subscribe to our content and also like our videos. Do not fear to comment, kindly give your comment so that we know where to better our videos and also how to serve you best. Thank you. May God bless you. Amen.